Hello. I had like a whole intro, didn't I? It's been so long, I forgot my intro. It was, hi, I'm Devin, your friendly neighborhood board gamer. And this is Devin Talks Tabletop, a YouTube channel about board games a YouTube channel where the games are made up and what I say doesn't matter. There we go. All right, I'll do that again, just for you. I'm going to keep it in, too. I'm going to not edit that out, because that's just gold. Deja vu timestamp. Hey guys, I'm Devin, a friendly neighborhood board gamer, and this is Devin Talks Tabletop, YouTube channel where the games are made up and where what I say doesn't matter. Nice to meet you. Let's get started. There we go. See, that was a good getting back into it. Obligatory third timestamp. This is one that's not even going to be about games. I'm just going to talk about some media that I have been enjoying. And I brought books. And I didn't bring TV shows because that would have been physically hard because they're all digital right now. I didn't bring any movies because, once again, I didn't want to do... I have some of the movies I've been watching recently. So let's start with movies because that's the last thing I said. I have been watching some more movies than I have recently because I was traveling. So I downloaded some of them to my phone just in case I got tired, didn't want to read a rule book, didn't want to do work, and just wanted to kind of like rest a little bit, and I wasn't able to sleep because I don't sleep very well on planes. And the one most recently that I finished that was super good, which is, it's not the first time I've watched it. I've watched it plenty of times. I actually got to the point where almost every November 5th we would watch it. I haven't fulfilled that in the last 3, 4, 5 years or something like that. But there was a time in which every 5th of November we would watch it. Do you know what I'm talking about yet? You should know what I'm talking about. It's V for Vendetta, which is based off of the graphic novel. That's written by Alan Moore, and I have that graphic novel at my house. But I came to it from the movie first. I didn't know the graphic novel first. I watched the movie first and reached out and grabbed the book afterwards. I absolutely love that movie. It's one of the few times where I like the movie more than I like the graphic novel. And I don't entirely believe that I came to that conclusion because I watched the movie first and then read the graphic novel later. I just really enjoy stylistically and narratively and like metaphorically what all of they achieve in that movie. The juxtaposition of Evie and V, and the visual rendition of just V as a character, and also like the dark authoritarian view that they get, which is that's brought out in the graphic novel. That exists in the graphic novel. But to see it come to life on a screen is a lot more vivid than what you see on the page. Because Alan Moore's, at least the whoever inked or illustrated that novel for him, that graphic novel series, it's like a very severe like look, which makes sense, but that kind of comes to life a lot more intensely when you see it play out with characters on a screen. So I absolutely love V for Vendetta. One of my top movies of all time. Just think it's a gem. So I got to watch that again. I watched Fury again, which is always, a joy to see, like kind of harrowing military experiences, because I hope I never have to live through that myself. It's also very difficult at times because it is very much the like degradation of human nature and of like social norms, like the amount of brutality that those soldiers and civilians too had to experience and come away from that psychologically damaged and have to reconcile with that like day to day. Really intense, unique kind of movie, because one of my favorite television series of all time is Band of Brothers. It's, man, on HBO, Steven Spielberg, a lot of famous actors kind of like hit their stride with that TV show, and you see them in a lot of stuff after that. Like Damian Lillard went on to do a lot of different stuff like Billions and other shows. Really just, I don't know, I am fascinated by situations in which people push themselves to extremes or are forced to extremes, and how they adjust and how that changes the dynamic of their relationship to themselves and to other people. I think that's why I started watching a lot of alpining and movies lately on Netflix. I've seen 14 Peaks, I've watched The Alpinist, and I watched Free Solo quite a while ago. There's a couple other ones I've been watching. All of that to say, I watched Fury, and then I watched V for Vendetta. Did I watch any others and cross them off the list? I feel like there was one more that I watched. I can't remember it right now. I've finished Jack Reacher a couple weeks ago. I think before I left for Gamma, I watched that. Then I've been slowly watching The Tourist on HBO Max. Slowly. It's like good, but it's not riveting enough that I'm like torn to watch it above not doing other things. It's good, but yeah, it's good. That's all I have to say about that. I think that's kind of it. I cannot wait for The Boys on Amazon Prime, season 3 to come out. Jensen Ackles is in that new series, or in the new season. Excited to see where that goes. Probably one of the most interesting explorations of superhero genre, period. Just much more engaging to me. Because it's more real. To me, The Boys is like the Marvel Universe meets Black Mirror. It's what would actually happen because we know human nature, and it's not typically this idealistic world where the majority of people decide to... More people would be horrible, is I guess what the expectation or the realization is. And maybe not horrible, but just so morally gray. Not indefensibly good. And I think that's what interests me about that show. It's also why probably the TV show that I'm most excited about, the Marvel Universe exploration I'm most interested in coming out soon, is Moon Knight. Because I know that that deals with mental health in a way that we haven't really seen since Jessica Jones. Excited to do that. I'm a little bit torn as to whether I'm going to edit out all of these so's, ums, and buts, which is going to take a while, or if I'm just going to consciously work on speaking better. We'll see. We'll see. Books. This one is the short story collection, or the small scattered excerpts on which the first season of The Witcher is based. This is The Last Wish, which if you have seen the show, you'll know what that is in reference to. I'm very close to the end. I'm only like 2 chapters away from the end, so I should probably finish it soon. I've been reading this very slowly indeed, because I've just not felt... I've watched the show, the first season twice, the second season once. The second season's much better than the first season. It really improves a lot, in my opinion. And the things that people are upset about in the second season, I'm not upset about because I don't have the level of investment that they do. While if I did have the same level of investment that they do, I would probably be a little frustrated. I actually think that even if I was, the level of... I think it improved the character development, the narrative arc, and the progress of that show. It kicked it up a notch to me. So yeah, still reading that. I have this because I finished the first book of it. And to say finished is a little bit of a cheat, because I read back like the last 100 pages or 150 pages to go through the resolution that I wanted to read through. This is a fantastic trilogy. This is the Millennium Trilogy, which most people will never have heard of it as a trilogy. They'll never be familiar with it as a selection of 3 novels that tell a larger story. They're almost certainly only familiar with it in the sense of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Because it was a movie, because it was 2 movies. It was a Swedish movie, I believe, because he's Swedish. Then it was an Americanized Hollywood movie with Daniel Craig as the main character. But good movie. And the Swedish one, which I also think I've seen, good movie too. Books, 9 times better. So much better. Lisbeth Salander remains to this day one of my favorite female protagonists ever. She's awesome. It's a really sobering, mature, dark, grimy, but exhilarating ride through these 3 books. This is a series that I've got because I want to jump back into it. This is another one that probably most people recognize from just the one book, Wool, but it's a trilogy. This one is more likely than this, that if you've read this book, you most likely dove into the other two. Another fantastic female protagonist. I think her name's Julie or Juliet. Juliet. Look, I remembered. So I think I'm just going to edit some of these out because they're going to bother me. Also, I need to fix that thing bothers the crap out of me. So, really good book. Really good book. Enjoy that. I want to jump back into it. I brought it because I want to read it next. I got a pre-production copy of the graphic novel. If this looks familiar to you, it's because it's the one that just funded from Ivy Studios. It's not really Ivy Studios, it's Ivy Labs. It is a kind of passion project of one of the employees there, and I think that's the purpose of Ivy Labs, is to allow passion projects and artistic endeavors that members of the team have. It allows them to explore that. And so I have not read this yet, and I'm really excited to. Graphic novels are one of my guilty pleasures, something I can always, even if I'm not reading a book, which I should be at the time, or even if, I have not jumped into some level of entertainment beyond something with screens, graphic novels are such an easy way for me to do that. Mind management, I finally did it. I have been wanting to get this ever since I played the game, and the omnibus came back out. The second and the third omnibus, see, it says comprehensive report 1 of 3. The second and the third are currently out of stock right now, so they're reprinting those. I believe Matt Kent, the creator, story writer for this, and also the artist on the board game, I believe he just put out a post recently that verified that Dark Horse was doing a reprint. So I'm excited to read into this, explore that world more, and be ready for when the second and third omnibus come out. Harrow County. I got this also from Dark Horse. Also going to be an upcoming game from Jay Cormier and Off the Page Games. This is their next endeavor after Mind Management. They just had the massively successful reprint campaign on Kickstarter for this. And this is the story that will be the thematic and narrative basis of his next game, which I got to play at Gamma. So I'm very much interested in checking that out. And it's visually distinct from Mind Management. It's visually distinct from quite a lot of stuff that I have played before. Ooh, Mike Mignola from Hellboy said, a rare thing, both wonderfully charming and genuinely disturbing. That's fantastic to hear. That sounds super cool. Excited to jump into both of those. Those will be things I touch on soon. But these are books that I have been reading. Those are films that I have been watching. Those are TV shows I have been watching. That's media I have been consuming. Conclusive timestamp.